And I reconvene the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 6 p.m. with Blair, Cruz, Gagne, Nah, and Schaefer present. Before we begin, please silence all electronic devices and note that these proceedings are being recorded. Pat?
The board met in closed session from 4:30 to 5:50 regarding conference with legal counsel, existing and anticipated litigation as student admissions, student readmissions, student discipline matters, conference with labor negotiators, ACT and CSCA, public employee discipline dismissal release, public employee performance evaluation superintendent. The board voted to accept the settlement agreement and release between the district and classified employee number 4988799. Pursuant to the terms of the agreement, classified employee will resign effective January 16, 2020 by the following vote. Cruz, Gagne, Blair, Schaefer, Nah, voting yes. No further action was taken which requires public disclosure.
Thank you. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Leading us tonight in the Pledge of Allegiance is Mr. Krieger from the Fire Board, please.
Thank you. Please join me in honoring our great nation. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to our republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Krieger. Move on to item 1C, annual report of college and career indicator. Dr. Pallart.
President Schaefer, members of the board, Superintendent Enfield, cabinet, and community. We have our third update to the board on our local control and accountability plan. Chino Valley has 3 LCAP goals which are aligned to the required 8 state priorities. California's accountability system is based on our performance relative to these state priorities and is reported out to the public on the California School Dashboard. Our report to the board this evening will be on the College and Career Indicator, also known as the CCI, which is a state metric used to measure our progress on State Priority 8, and in part what we use to measure our progress for LCAP Goal 3. The CCI is calculated using various college and career measures at the high school level only that evaluate our students' preparedness for college and career. We'll also be providing our board with a local report on how our students are doing to be prepared beyond graduation. There has been one key change made to the calculation of the College and Career Indicator. This change is reported on the 2019 California School Dashboard and includes the results of our students who graduated in 5 years at our comprehensive high schools. Dr. Freed, our Director of Assessment and Instructional Technology, will be reviewing Chino Valley Unified School District's performance on the state metric.
To calculate the CCI, a student is assigned to one of 3 levels: prepared, approaching prepared, or not prepared. This chart shows the level of college readiness for the graduates in the class of 2019. 48% of the students were prepared, 17% approaching prepared, and 35% not prepared. There are 8 ways students can meet prepared status on the College and Career Indicator. Because students can meet more than one measure to demonstrate prepared status, the percent of students meeting the various options will reflect duplicate counts. In all 8 ways, it requires students to graduate with a standard high school diploma and meet another set of criteria. 7.1% of the 2019 graduating cohort achieved prepared status with option 1 by completing a career technical education or CTE pathway with a C- or better and one of the following: earning a level 3 on the Smarter Balanced Summative ELA or math and level 2 in the other subject area, or 1 semester of college credit courses formerly known as dual enrollment. 65.2% met prepared status by earning standard met on the Smarter Balance summative assessments in both ELA and math. 1.3% of prepared graduates met that status by completing 2 semesters or 3/4 of college credit courses with a grade of C- or better. 47.6% of prepared graduates met that status through option 4 by earning a score of 3 or higher on 2 advanced placement exams. The AP scale scores range from 1 through 5. At this time, CVUSD does not have an IB program. Most of our students, 89.4%, met prepared status through option 6, which is completion of courses that meet UC or CSU A through G criteria, with each letter of the A through G representing a different discipline and the number of years required. For example, A is 2 years of history social science. B is 4 years of English. And one of the following: CTE pathway completion, at least a 3 on ELA or math, and a 2 in the other subject area, 1 semester of a college credit course, or a score of 3 on 1 AP exam. Option 7 was new with the 2018 dashboard, so this is only the second year of implementation. With this option, students earn the state seal of biliteracy, demonstrating proficiency in a language other than English, and must achieve standard met on the state exam in ELA. We had 21.5% of our students prepared via option 7. We had no students meet prepared status through option 8 because Chino Valley does not currently offer a JROTC program. A summary of our CCI performance results are reflected here on the 5x5 placement chart. Colors represent performance. CVUSD is on yellow, 2 of our high schools in green, 2 high schools in orange, and 2 of our alternative high schools in red. Here we see the performance colors of all student groups on the CCI. In comparing our CVUSD college and career indicator performance, we surpassed the state. At this time, Dr. Rodriguez, Director of Secondary Curriculum and Instruction, will add to our progress on the CCI by looking at our own local metrics.
So locally, there are several data points that we monitor to ensure that our students are ready for both college and career. The first data sets that we're going to look at are graduation rate as well as our A through G completion rate. As you can see, our A through G completion rate has quite a big jump there, 2.3% from 2018 to 2019. Hand in hand with meeting those minimum requirements for consideration for the University of California as well as California State University are the percentage of students who are taking advanced placement courses. So 2 local measures that we track there are not only the number of exams that score 3 or higher, but when we unduplicate that number, the number of students who have at least 1 exam with 3 or higher, which is the minimum score that a college or university may grant university credit for. As you can see, especially when we unduplicate those numbers, we had quite a big jump there of nearly 7% in the percentage of students who take AP exams that have at least 1 of those tests score 3 or higher. In 2018, 94.5% of our graduates took the SAT at some point in their high school career. And when our students take that test, it gives us a very important look into their college readiness. On the right-hand side over there, that college readiness is indicated in 2 benchmark scores. The benchmarks indicate a student's preparedness to take rigorous college courses. So in 2019, in spring of 2019, our 11th graders took that test. And as you can see, we far outpaced the state. In the total column there, that represents the students in the nation that met the benchmark for either expository reading and writing or mathematics. To further prepare our students for success beyond graduation, Chino Valley Unified School District has made career technical education a priority. This slide illustrates the percentage of students overall, as well as at each site, that are currently enrolled in a career technical education course. Overall, career technical education recognizes 15 industry sectors. We continue to offer 16 complete pathways in 10 of those industry sectors. On this slide, it's a summary of all of the complete pathways that we offer, as well as the sites at which they're located. And this slide provides a kind of a nice summary or an overview of the district-wide initiatives that help us ensure that we're preparing students for life beyond graduation. So in addition to career technical education, we continue to invest in promoting college and career awareness through college tours, college nights, career days, and career fairs at all of our junior high schools and high schools. Our commitment to AVID continues to show promising numbers in the percentage of AVID 12th graders who are accepted to four-year universities, as well as those AVID 12th graders who chose to take at least one course of rigor measured by an advanced placement course at some point in their high school years. Speaking of AP courses, we continue to increase the number of sections that you'll find on our high school campuses. You'll find that we've added 2 additional AP courses since 2018-19 for a total of 28 different advanced placement courses. We most recently added AP Studio Art as well as AP Research, and we revised AP Music Theory. We offer college credit courses on each of our campuses, and we're putting into place practices and procedures that help ensure student success when they take those classes. Intervention counselors continue to serve the most vital function of guiding our most at-promise students in guiding them through all of the ways to meet success in high school. And so sometimes they're the first people to point out to our students, our most at-promise students, items such as the PSAT and the SAT, college awareness, career awareness. And finally, our investment in the California College Guidance Initiative, which is a software online platform that not only helps students plan portfolios and prepare portfolios for both college and career, but helps them apply to the California Community College, the CSU, as well as financial aid. And so this completes our annual update to the Board of Education.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Board, do you have any questions or comments? Ms. Gagne?
Yes. What is the district doing to promote the career pathways to incoming freshmen?
I'm happy to report that not only do we have a thriving CTE program on our high school campuses, but we also have a number of CTE courses, and this is not common, at our junior high schools. In addition to that kind of first introductory course, when a student takes a introductory course that's tied to a high school pathway, they're actually able to skip that first introductory course. So it's a little incentive to do that. In addition to that, we have career technical student organizations at a number of our junior high schools, and they can also participate in between 8th and 9th grade in our ROP classes.
Thank you.
Mr. Na?
Yeah, I love this report tonight, especially when I'm looking at page 11, where almost 90% of our students were taking classes, preparing them for four-year school. That's great. And it's good that we're going to offer more college unit classes, because as we know, the colleges are getting very expensive. So we need to really help out our high school students. And also AP classes. That's a great move. This is how we can attract more students. Otherwise, could be going to other school districts. So thank you for that. I'm looking at page 21 about career tech. Yes, we have many students enrolled in CTE courses, but I'd like to also remind ourselves, when you become 18 years and older, you are allowed to take many certification and state licensing exams. So if we're mindful of their future, that could be in their months after their graduations and maybe even 6 months, but they'll be qualified and prepared to take those certifications and state licensing courses, because those job skills could end up being their job for life. So I think you are thinking ahead of time and for our students' sake. So thank you so much. Good job.
Ms. Gagne?
So I'm glad to see that the graduation rates are stabilized and did not decrease, but there's always room for improvement. So in reflecting on so where we're at as a district, what are some steps that have been identified to improve those graduation rates?
So we have a couple of different opportunities, or we make as many opportunities as we can to have those discussions with our sites. As you know, twice a year, we engage in some pretty rigorous conversations with our sites, site administrators, our site leadership teams, where they come and we've made the CCI a central part of that. And so each of the sites reports how they're addressing those measures, and we as a district office are able to hear and provide support in how to meet those. In addition to that, working I want to give a real shout out to our counselors, because we put a lot of practices and procedures in place so that they're constantly looking at individual students. And when I mean individual students, we're talking about lists of kids, not just numbers, not percentages. We look at lists of students and come up with plans of action to move students from one list over to the next list.
Mr. Cruz?
Thank you. We are successful, and there's a lot of people in the audience right now. Raise your hand, how many teachers? And how many parents? And, we are above the state, and we're above the county, and it has a lot to do with you guys, the teachers and parents, the tipping spear of our educational system, and especially our cabinet. But this is our success of raising our children in a way where they'll have opportunities in the future. And also, there's another question. Subgroups, year after year, have they been improving positively, our kids, throughout the year?
So overall, when we take a look at 3 to 5 year trends, we do see our students improving. And we do like to look at trends, because year to year you may see slight decreases, but when we again look at overall trends, our students are improving.
That's good.
Mr. Na?
Yeah, I have a last comment. Yes, we have all this data for our high schools. However, I was able to attend a great charter school right next door to us, and I was able to watch kids involved in coding classes. I think junior high. It was an awesome. Matter of fact, they even had their own student tutors, helping their peers. So I think I would like to see our staffs visiting different sites, and especially our school just next by us, and share thoughts and build these strong programs together. Thank you.
Thank you. And we actually have coding curriculum available at all of our elementary schools. In our junior high programs, we also have coding classes, and we have robust coding, robotics courses at all of our high schools as well. So we're proud of that.
Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Great, thank you much for the presentation. Moving on to item 1D, comments from our student representative. Ms. Singh?
Good evening, board members, cabinet, and community members. Let's begin with Chino High School. The Chino Cowboys will have their rivalry games against Don Lugo today. They will be competing in boys and girls soccer, water polo, and wrestling. The class of 2024 freshman fair will be Monday, January 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. Freshmen will be able to learn about elective courses, clubs, activities, academics, athletics, and performing arts. They will also vote for their class color. On January 6th, Chino Cowboy Country was the first guest on the first episode of the Student Section Report podcast with Manny Alvarez and Chris Holm. The Chino Classic Golf Tournament is coming up. The teaser video is available on Chino HS Cowboys Instagram page. Chick-fil-A Leader Academy is having a canned food drive and will be accepting donations until January 24th. Proceeds will go to Walder's Family Service, God's Pantry, and the Care Closet. At Don Lugo High School, this week was their rally week in anticipation of the Winter Sports Rally on Friday. The theme is Candy Cane Land, and they also had a Spirit Week. Monday was Left Twix or Right Twix Twin Day. Tuesday was Sweet Victory Jersey Day. Wednesday was Taste the Rainbow, Wear Rainbow Day. Today was Like a Kid in a Candy Shop, Be Like a Kid and Bring Your Favorite Stuffed Animal or Teddy Bear. Tomorrow will be Wear School Spirit. At Chino Hills High School, the Chino Hills dance team participated in their first competition of the season. They received 5 first places, 3 second places, a Best Technique award, and their all-male team got first place. Congratulations to the Chino Hills dance team. On January 11th, varsity cheer finished as the CIF Division 1A runner-ups. Congrats to Husky cheerleaders. Chino Hills ASB is preparing for their next rally, which will be held at the end of February. At Ayala High School, we have a new Twitter account, @AyalaUSB. Every 15 minutes, 2020 will be presented by SAD Club towards the end of the semester to teach the dangers and repercussions of drinking and driving to our students. They are looking for volunteers to participate in this important event. Congratulations to the Ayala varsity song team for making first place in the USA competitions. There is an Ayala t-shirt design contest ongoing where students will submit designs that include the Bulldog Way, which is be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. Submissions are accepted in the office until January 24th. The Ayala Golf Program is having a fundraising tournament at Western Hills Country Club on January 20th at 11 a.m. And also, the Ayala Rewind Winter Sports Rally will be on January 30th. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Very comprehensive report as always. So thank you. We are now at comments from our employee groups. Item 1E, Ms. Brenda Walker, ACT President.
Good evening, President Schaefer, Vice President Gagne, Board Clerk Hernandez, Board members Mr. Cruz and Mr. Nar, Superintendent Enfield, District Cabinet, and Community. First, I want to congratulate our new school board officers on your new position. It's always a great pleasure to work with you and all board members. There are 3 items on today's agenda that I wanted to speak to. First, board members will be voting tonight on whether to increase the certificated substitute daily pay rates. On behalf of all classroom teachers, I want to thank the district for recognizing the need for CBUSD to be competitive with surrounding districts so that we can secure substitutes to cover our teachers when they have to be out. We hope the board chooses to pass this item, and we look forward to other actions that will attract and retain substitutes in our district. Second, there is a resolution to acknowledge School Counseling Week next month, first week in February. We have amazing counselors. Our counselors help to develop a plan for our students, guide our students through the academic year, and share opportunities that help to shape their futures. I, for one, will be forever grateful for the time and attention that was paid to my own 2 children as they made their way through Chino Hills High School. I remember sometimes giving the same direction as the counselors, but who did they listen to? The counselors. But it's okay, whatever works, right? So counselors, thank you for all that you do. Sometimes you won't know the lasting effects you have on students, but the students do, and that's all that matters. And lastly, to our CSEA Chino Chapter 102 President Danny Hernandez and members, congratulations on reaching a tentative agreement. I know it must feel good to get to the end of all the hard work that you do. That's all I have for tonight. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Danny Hernandez, CSEA.
Good evening, President Schaefer, board members, Dr. Infield, cabinet, staff, and community. Like Ms. Walker brought out, you guys are about to vote on a contract that was completed in record time. That's the quickest that I've ever heard of it being done, but we are very glad that it was accomplished. A special thank you to Dr. Infield. There was miscommunication, we'll say the least, and we were happy to move past it and bring this to you guys today. It's not just myself. There's always a team. Freddie Arroyo Jr., which is our first vice president, Diego Solis, our second vice president, Terry Besaidis, Dee Dee Shones, and Monica Landry, our labor rep, along with the district's team. We put in a lot of hours, very few days, but a lot of hard work. On December 5th of 2019, CSCA and the district, Assistant Superintendent Rideout, Frank Arce, Miss Isabel Brenes, Melissa Martinez, and myself conducted a training for our classified staff on how to interview better, to give them updates or suggestions. We had a quality mindset workshop 1. We used the acronym of PACE, of presence, to make sure you answer the question, to connect with the individuals, and then emotional intelligence. We had about 60 slots open, and we were able to fill, I believe, about half of them throughout the day. I wanted to send a special thank you to the Human Resources team. It was everybody had input in this. Everybody had a role. There was nobody that was sitting there just filling a seat. We had plenty of interaction, and we hope to expand this into other trainings. It had been a very, very long time since we, as a district and CSC, had presented anything like this to our staff, and we're very appreciative of it, and we hope to continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tom Mackesy from Champ.
Good evening, everybody, and just want to say a few things. CHAMP is comprised of the management personnel in the district, and as such, we don't have a union. Although we love to recognize our amazing management personnel, our first focus is always the students. However, we also like to recognize great things done by members of CSEA and ACT. And Danny, so great job with CSEA doing, getting their contract signed. That's fantastic. And Brenda, you took some of my thunder, but I'm going to steal some of it back. Okay? So when I looked at the board agenda for tonight, I saw that the board is doing a proclamation tonight in honor of school counselors because of February 3rd through 7th is National School Counseling Week. So I asked the secondary principals if there was anything that they would like me to mention about somebody who's doing something above and beyond. Well, as I'm sure you could guess, I got quite a response. Here are just a few of the things that our counselors are doing to help Chino Valley students succeed. Tisha Clay at Buena Vista is amazing. She schedules all the students, checks on their progress, and provides many layers of student support constantly. She is tough on students, but she loves them up as well. She is an amazing fit for Buena Vista. Having 4 quarters is a challenge for scheduling, but she checks, double checks, and triple checks that the students are in the right classes. At Don Lugo, Jamie Bergren has created a cohort of 25 at-risk sophomores who had GPAs under 2.0 last year. These students have a study skills class, and Mrs. Bergman goes into the class daily to help work with the students. And as a result, 22 of the 25 students ended the last semester with a GPA higher than 2.0. At Chino High, Lucia Gibbs has worked very hard at parent outreach, taking parents on college visits. Todd Polera works with at-risk students and is constantly reaching out to kids and doing home visits to work with families. At Chino Hills High School, the counselors have a proactive focus on their students' mental health through Chino Hills High School's Wellness Center and regular check-ins with high-risk students. This has been an important shift in their roles as high school counselors because of the concern for our students' mental well-being. Julie Ure from Canyon Hills has Coffee with Counselors events that support parents in the community. The next event is January 31st at 8 a.m. on the topic of Heart Matters, understanding our teens' social and emotional needs. Canyon usually has about 100 parents attend those events. Joseph Hurtado, is the counselor at Townsend Junior High School. He oversees their after-school intervention support for at-risk students. Mr. Hurtado is well-liked by students and is extremely important in providing both academic guidance as well as being as a good listener to assist students with the socio-emotional roller coaster that is junior high. He is currently in the process of planning Townsend's College and Career Night that is scheduled for the evening of March 3rd. These are just a few of the highlights of what is being accomplished by Chino Valley's amazing counselors. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1F, we're now on comments from the audience on items not on the agenda. Pat, are there any speakers for non-agenda items?
22 requests to speak.
Speakers will be called in the order the requests are received. Please listen for your name and be prepared to approach the podium. Any comments on agenda items will be accepted during consideration of that item. Once the board has commenced deliberations on an issue, speaker cards will not be accepted. The board is very interested in your comments, but please bear in mind that the board typically does not respond to comments during this time on the agenda, as it is reserved specifically for public comments. Individual members may respond during board comments at the end. I have to read that, huh? Additionally, the board does its best to support the public's right to address its elected officials. It is also important that the board conduct its business in an orderly and fair fashion, as provided in Board Bylaw 9323. In the event that an unusual amount of speaker cards are submitted for any item, the board will hear up to 30 minutes of comments. In the case of non-agenda items, the board can, if it chooses, hear the remainder of the comments after all business has been conducted. Mrs. Hernandez, will you please explain the light system?
Yes. Good evening, speakers. You have 3 minutes to address the board. Limit remarks to new points. Begin comments at the green light. The yellow light indicates you have 30 seconds left. The red light means your time is over. Please adjust the microphone as necessary. Audience members, please refrain from making comments while speakers are at the podium. And please note that Board Policy 1312.1 outlines the procedure for anyone who wishes to file a complaint against a district employee.
The first speaker is Michaela Wakefield, followed by Mike Krieger, followed by Melissa Campani.
Hi, good evening. I am a student at Chino Hills High School, and I'm here to talk on behalf of my soccer coach, Andy Placencia. I played on varsity for 3 years under Andy, and he's been nothing but kind and motivating to me and my teammates. He is a genuine person and coach and cares about his players. He also works hard to ensure all of his players are doing well in school. He teaches us life lessons. It's so much more than soccer. And he ensures that our team is a family, like all together as a whole. He established a culture for us at Chino Hills High School. And this culture ensures hard work and motivates us to work together as a family. And Andy is a very special coach to all of his players, and he's very irreplaceable. So, thank you.
Mike Krieger.
Hello, good evening, President Schaefer, rest of the board, and everyone. I'm Mike Krieger from the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors. At our December meeting, we did our appointments for our liaison reports, and I'm very pleased to say that I'll be spending the next year every other Thursday night with you guys, as I have been in the past as your liaison. And I just would like to reiterate how much we appreciate and enjoy the cooperation between the school district and the fire district together, and I hope that that continues for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa Campani, followed by Cynthia Moran, followed by Karen Watson.
Well, good evening, President Schaefer, board members, Superintendent Enfield, cabinet, and community members. My name is Melissa Campani, and I am here representing your county supervisor, Kurt Hagman. And the supervisor wishes everyone a very happy new year and did ask me to stop by to make an announcement regarding some of our residents in the Chino Valley who live in unincorporated areas. He has gathered different county departments, which will be very helpful to those residents who don't often have an opportunity to speak to people in the planning, code enforcement, public works, sheriff's department, and the California Highway Patrol. He's going to have them gather on February the 10th between 6 and 7:30 p.m., and that's going to take place at the Carolyn Owens Community Center in the city of Chino. And we do ask for RSVPs. The room isn't really huge. In case we have a extremely large turnout, we might have to change that venue. But we do have all this information on a flyer. And of course, if you were to follow Supervisor Hagman on Facebook or Twitter, the information is also there. So we are hoping to help out some of the area's unincorporated residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cynthia Moran, followed by Karen Watson, followed by Krista Nash.
Well, hello everyone. It's been a while since I've been able to give reports. I'm Cynthia Moran from Chino Hills City Council, and I will be your liaison for the next year, and I'm super excited. So I have some things to share that I hope will be of interest to the community and to the board as it relates to students in our city. First of all, I want to thank President Schaefer for giving an excellent report, an update on the school bond at our city council meeting on Tuesday night. It was very informative. The video was excellent, and I know that when our residents watch the video, they will get a better feel and feel more supportive of the bond as they pay their tax bill every year, because I'm very pleased to see all of the stuff being done in Chino Hills at the schools. One thing I wanted to bring up, Omnitrans is our public transportation system, and I serve on the Omnitrans board. There is going to be a significant service reduction affecting Chino and Chino Hills. Specifically for Chino Hills, there'll be an elimination. There's a proposed elimination of Route 365, the OmniGo. That will affect students at Chino Hills High School that take the bus to school. So I am being diligent in staying close to this as far as what this is going to look like. They're saying. Staff at Omnitrans is saying there will be a microtransit option. More to come on that, but I just wanted to give people a heads up, and I made it clear to the board that before school starts, this next school year, we need to get out in front of it and let the parents and residents know that are affected by this, how they're going to get from point A to B. With that said, there's going to be a public hearing asking for public input on January 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Chino Hills City Hall. I know that's a wide window of time, so I don't know what the structure is going to be. If you visit omnitrans.org, there's more specifics because they are basically just using City Hall as a venue. So I do not have the specifics of what the outline will be of that public hearing. And I think the champion is going to run something too, because there's going to be something held at Chino as well. We also, at the last meeting, city council meeting, we voted to reduce the parking fines on high schools at Ayala and Chino Hills High. I can't remember exactly what they were before, but there was a pretty stiff fine. So the fines have been reduced to $43, and that is so we can do some more realistic enforcement and have police go out and cite students that are illegally parked, specifically if they don't have a parking permit. That's always something that as a city we get a lot of feedback at the end of the year as parking spots run out and more students start driving after the new year, which is now, and it happens every year. So we try to work closely with the schools when parents call us saying there's not enough parking and why can't we park in the community center or City Hall, and we remind them that that is public parking for those buildings and not for school. So we do the best we can to make everyone happy, but the parking fines have been reduced. Thank you. You're welcome. I have a red light. Can I say one more thing? Or no, I can't. I'm just public comment, so I'll save it for next time. And I'll try to make it not more than 3 minutes. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carmen Watson, followed by Krista Nash, followed by Alexi Escobedo.
Good evening. I'm reading this letter on behalf of Deborah K. Johnson, a parent of children at Butterfield Ranch Elementary School for the past 9 years. She apologizes for not being able to attend in person. However, she had work obligations that could not be rescheduled. Okay. So, the reason I have decided to write this letter is because it's very important to me that my concerns at Butterfield Ranch Elementary School are shared with everyone. The school climate at BRE has drastically changed over the past 4 years. BRE went from an amazing school with amazing administration and staff to an awful, toxic place that no one is happy to be at. Not the kids, the parents, teachers, volunteers, and substitute teachers. BRE used to be heavily supported by parents. However, in the past 4 years, that has also changed significantly. Parents, including myself, volunteers, and even substitute teachers do not want anything to do with BRE. It has come to the point that I now drop off my kids and count the years until we are finished with this school. This year, I have made an effort to help out in the classroom for the sake of my daughter and her well-being. The only reason I have agreed to help out in the classroom is because the only thing we have left at BRE are our amazing teachers. But it seems even that might not last long, as teachers are fed up with the lack of respect, support, and communication at BRE. It speaks volumes that 23 teachers at BRE are currently on a transfer list, and one teacher has recently accepted another position at another school and will be leaving mid-school year. This teacher leaving impacts my child and myself directly, as it is my daughter's teacher, and she has decided to leave mid-year due to the stress and anxiety of working in a toxic environment. This should speak volumes about the current situation at BRE. 2 years ago, I expressed the same dissatisfaction in correspondence with Mr. Wayne Johnson, the previous superintendent at Chino Valley Unified School District. We were told that BRE would be under new leadership, and we were optimistic about improving, although this positive change did not last. Instead, the morale at BRE continues to spiral downward. Elementary school should be a fun place to learn. However, it does not feel that way under the current administration. I realize that the school will never be as great as it once was under the Rod Federesh. However, this is no reason for the awful unbearable either.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Krista Nash, followed by Alexia Escobedo, followed by Stephanie Anderson.
Good evening, board members, district staff, and audience members. Before I begin, I would like to get a show of hands of how many people here are Butterfield Ranch parents and teachers. I speak for all these people and many more who are unable to attend tonight. I have been a Butterfield parent since 2011 and will be until 2026. I have been an active member on the PTA since 2014 and currently hold the roles of room parent coordinator, secretary, yearbook coordinator, and I am also a room parent. I know this school. Currently, 23 of our 27 teachers have put in requests to transfer out of Butterfield. I just heard one has accepted a transfer and is leaving Friday. I find this extremely alarming, and it begs the question, what is the problem at Butterfield Ranch? It's the lack of leadership. The teachers are not supported, and there is no effective communication. The same decline has occurred with our parent volunteers for the same reasons. Many have disappeared out of frustration with the current administration. Just a few short years ago, we had an eager abundance of volunteers who felt welcomed and valued. That is no more. I struggle to find parents to volunteer for the role as room parent. The same goes for finding Art Academy, Science Academy, and Project Self-Esteem volunteers. No one wants to be on the campus anymore. Last year, I repeatedly witnessed a loving teacher as well as a large group of good kindergarten students have to tolerate disruptive behavior from the same 2 students daily. These 2 students hit, rolled around on the floor, growled at students, hid under desks, threw tantrums, screamed, and blatantly defied. My own daughter was hit in the stomach, scratched in the face, and had a hat hit off her head throughout the course of the school year. These two disruptive students were not removed from the class when they acted out. The principal did not come into the classroom and try to discourage these behaviors. This teacher desperately needed help and support from her principal and received none. I marvel at how she was able to come to school with a smile each day. Dr. Enfield, you visited our PTA meeting last year and told us how important it is for you to bring the fun back to schools. How can the campus culture be fun if you have teachers who feel they can no longer stand to work in their current environment and parents who don't want to be there? These teachers are not whiners. You need to hear them. They'll give you concrete examples of the ineffective leadership they endure. I will close with a quote I found taken off the California Department of Education's website. It said, "School leadership has an enormous impact on the quality of our schools, second only to classroom instruction. While there are many sources of leadership in schools, principal leadership remains at the core. Effective principal leadership is essential for cultivating high-performing schools, attracting and retaining high-quality teachers, and building community support." Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexia Escobedo, followed by Stephanie Anderson, followed by Larry Ortega.
Good evening. I'm speaking tonight as a concerned parent of my kindergarten son who attends Butterfield Ranch Elementary School. I'm gravely concerned for the safety of my child, all other students at Butterfield Ranch Elementary, and also the teachers and staff members who work there. In talking with my 5-year-old son about his kindergarten experience at Butterfield Ranch, he can't exclaim enough how happy he is to be there with his friends, the new playground and fun club. However, in talking with my 5-year-old son, there are several incidents that have occurred this school year in his presence that is alarming to hear as a parent and as a police officer. My son has heard another kindergarten student announce he had a gun in his backpack, at least on 2 occasions. My son has heard threats to students on the playground from this same student. "If you don't get off the slide, I'm going to F you up." I can say the exact word he said, but I would rather not. My son has heard threats to another child on the playground from the same child. "If you don't move, I'm going to punch you in the throat." Okay? My son has witnessed kindergarten teachers on multiple occasions being punched, kicked, and hit by the same student as mentioned before. Sorry I sound upset, but I am, okay? My son has witnessed 2 different occasions the AP being punched, kicked, and hit by the same student as mentioned before. My son had a shortened recess, that's his playtime, ending soon, or not even going out at all, because, as previously mentioned by the student, getting angry to the point of aggression, witnessed screaming, cussing, and throwing items. Therefore, the students have now been trained that when this outburst starts, they line up and they immediately go inside for their safety. My son has heard outside his classroom frightened screams of yelling and cussing from the same child, in which it's so disturbing to his class that the door must be closed and he still can hear it. If these are the things my son is witnessing from a student, not even in his classroom, what worse things must be happening inside the classroom with this misplaced child? I'm speaking with the kindergarten teachers as a concerned parent about these issues, and have confirmed that in 20 years of their teaching experience at Butterfield, multiple other principals there have been in a less serious situation and have handled it in a more prompt, immediate, and serious measure. This current principal is not choosing to address these issues and lack thereof. In law enforcement, we are trained to assess and evaluate situations as well as people. It's clear to me this one child is creating such a frightening, hostile environment that I'm genuine fear for the safety of my child.
Stephanie Anderson.
So the safety of my child is in your guys' hands, all right? So I hope you guys do something.
Good evening. I'm the mom of a first grader at Butterfield Ranch Elementary. And I have to say, Butterfield Ranch Elementary is a great school, but it's not just because of the students. It's because of our teachers. How does a school get their good, their good ratings besides surveys? It's test scores. And who helps our children achieve those test scores? It's our teachers. Elementary school is where the love of learning starts. If our teachers aren't supported by the administration, there isn't any communication, how do you expect them to teach our children with compassion and enthusiasm? As I've heard through the grapevine, and as you've heard tonight, more than half of our teachers have asked to be transferred out of our school. Think about that, more than half. At what point do we say enough is enough and make sure that the teachers, individuals that we trust our kids with on a daily basis, the individuals who we trust to educate our kids and help shape their future, are given all the support they need and that they've asked for repeatedly? If those teachers remove themselves from our school, you're taking that school from a great school and you're putting it down the drain. And I ask that they be supported in the way that our teachers, our educators need to be supported. Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry Ortega, followed by Christina Gurney, followed by Sebastian Cognetta.
I have some fact sheets that I wanted to get in front of you for my remarks. Thank you. My name is Larry Ortega. My goal to come before you today is to spark a subsequent conversation with the board and perhaps the superintendent. I have some facts to share with you relative to cell phone wireless and technology. Who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm a 35-year veteran in technology. The work that I have done has been in cooperation with hundreds of schools throughout California, and we've touched over 30 million people via the media coverage that we've had over the last 25 years. We have lifted 30,000 children and adults out of the digital divide and onto the path of empowerment. What I'm about to say should only be interpreted as supporting this community and getting the facts so that we can push cell phone providers and wireless technology providers to make it safer. Cell phone radiation and wireless technology has affected my immediate circle of family and friends, who I have family here in Chino, namely Sylvia, Bear, and Antonio, who have had all the following in common. They're heavy cell phone users. They all had brain tumors, with Bear and Antonio succumbing to brain cancer. In Antonio's last days, his face became seriously deformed, where he was barely recognizable, according to one close friend that I spoke to yesterday. Brain cancer used to be an extremely rare disease. Now, probably almost everyone in this room knows someone who has had one. These three were adults, but what are the effects on children? What effects does radiation emitted from a cell phone have on a 6-year-old child, a child in middle school, a high schooler? In a 2008 congressional hearing, 2008, chaired by Congressman Kucinich, the congressman demonstrated that radiation actually penetrates halfway through a 6-year-old child's brain when the cell phone is placed against their head. How could this be, some of you may ask? The government will protect us, right? Cell phone providers in the industry will regulate themselves to ensure consumer safety, right? Nope, on both accounts. In fact, the Chicago Tribune sponsored a study in 2019 that said most of us who hold our cell phones against our head are getting 5 to 7 times the radiation per the standards that were set by the government. The manual that comes with our phones and our cell phones says there should be a 2-finger space from our heads. How many here actually do that, or how many people have actually seen people do that? The Federal Communications Act of 1996 is a law that was written 24 years ago and is actually the governing principle on all standards relative to wireless technology today and has absolutely no relation to the technology that's in place now. The kicker to this act is that the children using cell phones was never tested. So it is incumbent upon us to do something about this immediately. We need the help of these institutions in our community to help proliferate this information and make our children and families and parents aware of this. I'm available. I'm going to stay after the meeting if anybody wants to speak to me. Thank
Christina Gurney, followed by Sebastian Cognetta, followed by Rima Khan.
Good evening, board, cabinet, community. I too am here on behalf of the Chino Hills High School soccer coach, Andy Placentia. My daughter is a graduate last year from Ayala High School, and she went through the engineering program. and she did top honors in that program, and we are really grateful for that opportunity for her. She didn't go to Chino Hills for Andy coach, but she was on his club team, and she was captain for 2 years, but she's known him for 10. She was a player under his brother and all the other coaches on her club team. So we know Andy very well, and as his captain, she was in constant communication with him regarding win, lose, or loss, what could be better, what could be improved, what they did wrong. And he was not disrespectful. He was not a bully. He did not threaten her, and they still maintain a very positive relationship. He checks on her. She got a full ride to University of North Alabama to play soccer, not in small part due to Andy putting the girls in front of the right coaches, constantly supporting them. The girls that weren't doing the required communication with coaches, sending out emails, sending out their schedule, he would help them. He would bring coaches to them and if they weren't being active in their own recruitment process. There is not a better coach, I don't think, in this community. And Chino Hills High School was blessed to have him. And whether or not there was a tender heart that may have been hurt, he is always supportive. He goes beyond just for soccer. He wants you to be a good person. He wants you to be a good leader. He wants you to have a future. And it's not just about soccer. And we've known him for 10 plus years, and I can just stand before you and say that any negative things that were said about him were said from possibly just a mood that day or taken out of proportion. So I just want you all to know the advantages that our girls have, because he coached mostly the girls under him. We might not have gotten anywhere else. I mean, my daughter has a complete full ride to play soccer at a university that's D1, and it is in large part to Andy Placentia. So I think you guys should be aware of the tremendous impact he has on this community, and he cares about all the students. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sebastian Cognetta, followed by Rima Khan, followed by Troy Stevens.
Thank you. Good evening, President Schaefer, board members, Dr. Enfield, staff, audience. First, a quick word to all the educators in the room, be it teachers, paraprofessionals, counselors. Thank you for what you do. You shape lives every day. Grateful to be a parent in this community. I appreciate you. Keep up the great work. We know it as parents. We appreciate it. And I don't want to ever pass up a moment to tell you thank you. Nearly a year ago, I spoke to this board, and as we were embarking on our renewal petition at Allegiance, and I shared that I wanted to look back on the process and say that it was a collaborative one with the district. So what has been completed and submitted is a result of that collaboration. So I wanted to thank the superintendent first and foremost and staff for your willingness to embark on that together. I appreciate it. We're humbled by it. We've grown a lot in the process, and appreciate that effort wholeheartedly. In our year and a half, it's hard to believe we're only a year and a half old, and that we're that old, right, guys? We're a year and a half. There's a lot we've accomplished that we're proud of. Recently we were able to look at our CAF scores together, and we're proud that our baseline score is one that puts us well above the state average on ELA and math and so on, and as far as subgroups as well. We also recognize we have work to do. We're a year and a half old. We're transparent about where we want to grow as a community to serve the students that are our students. In this time that we've been open, not only in our subgroups performance or academic performance, we're also pleased where we're standing financially. We'll finish the year. We're forecasted to more than double the surplus that we anticipated at the beginning of our school. That doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design, and I credit both Sarah Lopez and Meredith King, who have served as Director of Business Services for us, to make sure that we stay responsible in that realm. It's an important and part of our work, and we're pleased for where we stand now and the health of our organization in that front. In this last year and a half, we've also grown in our partnership with the school district. Our students are honored to participate in the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council. They shine when they're on their way there, on their way back, just to be a part of a larger community, and have grown so much as a result of it. And all of our students have benefited from the efforts of the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, and they appreciate being part of that. This week we'll wrap up hosting Chinese students as part of the international program. And it's been an honor to be a part of that. And I know I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to give some thanks to Mr. Whitney Fields for helping guide us in risk management and some of the guidance he's offered us, as well as Lori Warner, whose clear communication and oversight has been really helpful for us. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Rima Khan, followed by Troy Stevens.
Good evening. My name is Rima Khan. I am a parent of a student at both Butterfield Ranch Elementary and Chino Hills High School. I'm here for two reasons tonight, so I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit. First and foremost, I'm here for Coach Andy Placencia, who is my daughter's coach. He's coached her for 4 years, both on and off the field. He is always appropriate and kind and qualified and timely and is a wonderful individual. He was also my son's high school PE coach or PE teacher, and always behaved appropriately, kindly, and patiently with him. And I would ask that you consider that when you make your considerations regarding him, because I feel that he is an excellent coach and an excellent addition to Chino Hills High School. I am also here, as you all know, I'm from Butterfield Ranch Elementary, and it's my 14th year, and it's my last year. And sadly, I am counting down the days. Things have changed a lot over the past years. I've worked with Principal Miller, Hawkins, Federwich, Jewell, and Bennett. These teachers raised my kids. I have 3 kids. One is a freshman at UC San Diego, and although the chart at the beginning was nice about AP classes, Chaffey College classes, free. That's where you go. My children's kindergarten teachers here. There is a teacher in the back, Miss Curry and Miss Wilder. They've taught my kids 5 years and 3 years. And I have never, in all the times I have come to speak to you, had to face my kids' teachers in distress. That is sad. That is terrible. We are the school that never has a problem. We are the school that you send your principals to when they want to retire and have a nice time. And that's not what it's like anymore. Every day is a difficult day. My child does not enjoy being there. She's a top student. I left the PTA. I couldn't get things as simple as the spelling bee going. I couldn't get a reading program going where you got free tickets to Magic Mountain. I couldn't get fundraising for camp for the 6th graders going so that the kids who couldn't afford it could go. Nothing. Everything is, I'll think about it. I'll let you know. Nothing gets done there, and the teachers are frustrated. And I don't think any of you have even ever seen these teachers come here to complain about anything. And they've been there since the school opened. They've been there the entire time I've been there, and it is very sad to see. I would ask that each of you, and I know there are a number of you who go out and do site visits, please go out and visit these teachers in the classroom and ask them specifically what is happening, because things are not getting done there. We're getting locked out. The parents don't get to go onto the campus. The kids are locked out till the very last minute and left to play in the parking lot. It is a very dangerous situation there, and it's clear that our kids are not receiving the love that they used to, and that is a sad situation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Troy Stevens.
Pat, excuse me, sir, before you start. Yes. The board has reached its 30 minutes on this topic. I am going to ask for consensus from the board to continue hearing the rest of the speakers.
I'd like to see it continued.
Yes.
Yes.
Please continue, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, President Schaefer, Dr. Enfield. My name is Troy Stevens. I am a founding member, lead petitioner, board member at Allegiance STEAM Academy. And I just wanted to take this opportunity tonight to tell you, wow, I can't believe that we're coming up to the end of our 2nd year already. It's been a while since I got up here and spoke, and it actually feels really good now to get up here and speak, to know that over the last 2 years, the collaboration that we were able to achieve, with Dr. Enfield and his team, and with the board, of just the unity and being a part of this district is just tremendous. The students, like Dr. Cognetta said, so excited to come be part of the leadership groups that you guys are putting on, and the stuff that we have going on at the school. But it was important for me to come out here tonight to thank you guys, and we're looking forward to the hearing and the vote, and the 5 more years of allegiance in the community, because we've seen great things, and we know we have a lot of work to do to be that school that ultimately the vision of what we wanted. So I just wanted to take time to thank you guys all very much, and I know I'll be back up here in a few weeks to speak again during the hearing, but it means a lot to us that we've able to form this collaboration together, and seeing some of you guys around the school coming to visit, and you know, I wish all of you could come out and take time and talk to the teachers and the staff and the kids, most importantly. It's great to walk on that campus every day and see those smiling faces and those kids having a good time. So thank you very much, and looking forward to the future in the relationship. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Amy Desmet, followed by Debbie Klingelberg, followed by Tracy Rullison.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members, and community. My daughter attends Butterfield Ranch Elementary, and I'm here tonight to provide an example of how the teachers are lacking the support they need and deserve at Butterfield. There's a child in my daughter's kindergarten class who has intentionally struck her multiple times, leaving marks, as well as other students and the teacher. In the last 3 months, this teacher has been hit, pushed, and kicked so hard she had to go to urgent care. This is not acceptable to me, nor is it considered acceptable behavior according to the Chino Valley Unified School District Parent and Student Information Handbook, specifically Education Code 48900, subdivisions A1 and A2. Excuse me. I've expressed my concerns to the principal regarding this child, yet this child remains in my daughter's class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Debbie Klingelberg, followed by Tracy Rullison, followed by Emily.
Good evening, board members, and good evening, district staff, and good evening, audience. My name is Debbie Klingelberg, and I'm a school teacher at Butterfield Ranch, and I'm reading a letter from Chris Lardieri. He is a parent of a 6th grader this year. I had his son when he was a 4th grade student. It's a long letter, so I'm only going to read my 3 minutes worth, and then there's another parent following me reading the rest. January 16th, 2020, dear CVUSD board members and superintendent, I'm writing as a concerned parent at Butterfield Elementary School. Specifically, I have major concerns with the school's principal, Al Bennett. My oldest child first attended the school starting in 2013, and we had a very positive experience with both the teachers and administration. Since the departures of Mr. Federwish and Mrs. Jewell, the school has taken a turn for the worse under Mr. Bennett's leadership. In short, he runs the school in an authoritarian manner, is a poor communicator, treats both staff and parents with contempt, and is focused more on school security than education. Specifically, I have observed the following. He does not make an effort to interact with students and parents. He seems very uncomfortable when they try to interact with him. He has yet to learn students' names or seems to focus on only saying hi to certain students while ignoring who they are with. This is important to elementary students, their principal knowing and caring about them. He seems overly concerned and not in a good way when parents are allowed on campus and about their presence. He's announced for parents to get off campus in a hostile manner, specifically on the first day of school when parents were invited to stay on campus to have donuts and get to know other parents, so unwelcoming. He refused to let BRE alumni and older siblings volunteer on campus. Apparently there is new protocol, and we were not told of this ahead of time, so it's made for some very uncomfortable situations in the office. Past principals welcomed the community coming to help at class parties or for PTA. When my wife and I questioned him about this on December 20th, 2018, he was extremely nasty with my wife, to the point where I had to intervene and tell him not to talk to her that way. I also told him his policy was inadequate, to which he condescendingly thanked me for my input. Multiple parents witnessed his inappropriate behavior, so our 15-year-old daughter wasn't allowed to come assist because we didn't have the proper paperwork, which were never told about to begin with. We will happily follow protocol if we were told about it. Lack of communication. As a result of his attitude, PTA meeting attendance and parent involvement at the school is at an all-time low and has declined significantly since 2018. This is a major issue as PTA helps with so much on our campus. He takes no ideas for input from PTA. His attitude is his way or the highway. He communicates with parents infrequently and chooses to utilize weekly automated phone blast calls, and they don't give any important info. We are relying on flyers and teachers for communication. He doesn't send
Thank you.
reminders.
Tracy Rullison.
Good evening, everyone, as I'm continuing to read the same letter. My name is Tracy Rose. He doesn't send reminders about events on campus. Our school Facebook has not been updated. He never formally introduced the new assistant principal, Mrs. Friedman, to teachers and parents at the beginning of the school year and didn't even send a phone blast about it. We had to ask teachers who the lady walking around campus was. He also treats teachers poorly, which numerous parents have witnessed, resulting in poor staff morale. He doesn't take suggestions from them, which we as parents have witnessed. This is especially concerning given that both of my kids have had positive experiences with all of their teachers and have never seen them disgruntled before. He did not place an experienced sixth grade teacher back to her grade level this school year. He did not send one phone message to us sixth grade parents about our kids at science camp, unlike previous principals. He didn't say he went to visit or protocol for picking up our kids when they returned. We waited outside for 45 minutes because he had nothing in place. He never came out to talk to us parents or communicate what to do. A phone blast would have been appropriate in this situation and before we got on campus. When asked questions about certain curriculum by parents, he doesn't know the answers. I listed a number of these concerns last year in my school survey, but none of these issues have yet to be addressed. One of my comments was that Mr. Bennett runs BRE as if it's a TSA checkpoint and not an elementary school. Therefore, I am asking for a change in leadership for the sake of our children. Mind you, my son will be promoting from sixth grade in May, and I will not have any more kids at BRE. But I feel that I have an obligation to do the right thing and explain the many reasons why he is not elevating BRE and how unfortunate it's been to witness this. This is year 2 for him, and there has been no improvement. Thank you in advance for your time. Regards, Chris Lardieri. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emily, followed by James Bizzaro, followed by Brooke Innes.
Good evening. My name is Emily Hargy, and I'm a 2019 Chino Hills High School graduate, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Andy Placencia. Andy was my coach for my first 2 years of high school. Although I have had many different soccer coaches throughout my life, and Andy happened to be the coach I had for the least amount of time, he has made the biggest impact in my soccer career. Not only does he take the sport very seriously, he cares about every individual player and doesn't leave anybody behind. His coaching skills have not just improved my game, but have taught me to play with heart and enjoy the sport. Having Andy during the most important stage of my recruiting process helped me receive a scholarship to a Division I school, and I would not have been able to do it without him. He goes out of his way to help his players become the best versions of themselves and doesn't take the fun out of the hard work. I'm so grateful that I had Andy as my high school coach, and I hope that younger girls coming into Chino Hills High School soccer program in the future get to experience his great coaching like I did. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Bizzaro, followed by Brooke Innes, followed by John Petrov.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Bizzaro. I'm here in support of Andy Placencia as well. I've been a member of this community for almost 50 years. I was born and raised in Chino Hills. So I went to Glenmead, Ramona, graduated just a few short years ago in 1989 from Donald. So, after college, I came back to the community to raise my children. Proud to do so because I love this community. My son graduated from Chino Hills High in class of 2019 with honors. My other son is a sophomore at Chino Hills High currently, and my daughter is at Townsend Junior High. Andy is currently the PE coach, or not currently, but he was the PE teacher for my son, Tony. Unfortunately, my son has asthma, so he does not always get to participate in physical activity in his PE class. Andy has been very understanding in this regard and very supportive of him, and he has told me about it many times. So I appreciate Andy for that as well. When my daughter decided that she wanted a better coach, because I was a recreational soccer coach for many years, we scoured the landscape to look for someone that would be very supportive, and personally as a protective dad, I wanted a very healthy environment for my daughter. I wanted a firm coach, but I also wanted someone that would be able to mentor her as a person with character, hard work, etc. Lo and behold, after a few years in the club, Andy became our coach. During that time, I've been pleasantly surprised with his ability to reach out and connect with these athletes. The girls respect and love him as a person and as a coach. I have to say that, after playing for him for a few months, my daughter was injured. She had a relatively serious injury to her knee, which was a bit shocking to us, right? Andy was extremely supportive of her and my family. He took her aside and said, it's very important that you continue to connect with this team and you continue to come to these practices, continue to come to the games, and we will be here to support you. And that meant a lot to my daughter, and it's really helped her with her physical therapy, both mentally and physically, to know that her coach is standing by her. He continues to text her to make sure she's doing well and is looking forward to her coming back to the field. So I thank you for considering this, and I think this board would be amiss to not reinstate Andy as soon as possible. I think we'd be losing something very special. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brooke Ennis, followed by John Petroff, followed by Kathy Osman.
Hello, I'll be talking on behalf of Andy. My name's Brooke Ennis, and I was Andy's former player at Legends FC, and I actually graduated at Diamond Bar High School last year. And I played for Legends for the past 10 years and currently go to Cal State San Marcos and play soccer there. During my time at Legends, I learned so much, especially during the 2 years I had Andy as my coach. Not only did I learn soccer skills, team building, time management, and so much more, I was able to learn so many life lessons that I'm very grateful for. Andy has always been a positive role model for all of his players, and he also tried his best to get to know us and really push us to be the best that we can be. He always worked hard at building relationships with us on and off the field and only had our best interest in mind. He helped us believe in each other and push our teammates to do the best as well. He wanted us to focus on our future to become better people, not just better players. I'm so thankful for the relationships that I've built with some of my very best friends, and a lot of that was because of Andy as a coach, because he wanted to have a bonded team. He cared for all of his players, and he also was involved with most of our school events that we had, which meant a lot to us. The 2 years I had him were the years that I learned the most about not just soccer, but about who I am as a person. I don't think I'd be where I am today without the help of Andy. Thank you for being a huge part of my development and teaching me so much about the game and life. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Petroff, followed by Kathy Osman, followed by Rachel Wakefield.
Good evening, board. I just wanted to come here on behalf of Andy also, and I'm not going to repeat half of what his own players said, but a couple facts that I'm going to bring up. My daughter witnessed, both my kids played for Andy for the last 10 years, and my daughter witnessed something at school that was very disturbing when she came home and told me. A little boy that comes up to him and points his finger at him and says, "What are you going to do about it?" Puts no power in a teacher. Says, "You can't do anything about it. What are you going to do?" And I think that was one of the problems that started everything. And for a little boy to do that is the message that we heard today. What kind of message are we going to send to these kids if we discipline the teacher and not the right case? What is that we're doing to us, our kids? The future's in trouble, you guys. We're sending the wrong thing, the wrong message to every single kid out there. When I grew up, if I put my finger to a teacher, I'm not going to school. I can't sit for a week with my butt, and the next thing will be, I will not even be in that school. That's the message we got to send. It's more than just none of us are perfect in this room. I'm not claiming that he's a perfect guy. God, I'm far from it. But the message that's here tonight is important. We can send, just because a kid did not get to playing varsity soccer, so the mom needs to complain, to give that avenue for this. This young kid is a 30-year-old, just got his master's, waiting for a baby, and we could ruin his life by allocations, but by people saying things. If it was something criminal, we will not be here right now. Put him in jail if you touched a kid. But that's not the case. We gotta come together here and make this the right thing. The message for these disrespectful kids, I feel bad for these Butterfield parents. Is that where we're growing? Is that where we're coming? This is the devil. This is the devil. We all know that. We got to come together, unite this, and show the force of a support these teachers. When a kid puts his finger to a teacher and says, what are you going to do about it? In front of all these kids, that's not right. That's not what we're about. I grew up in Arcadia. We had to have respect. And respect, if I didn't have respect, I'm not kidding. I would not be able to sit for a week. That's right. That's what we have to do, ladies and gentlemen. Please send the message, the right message to this thing. He did one thing. He got all the kids every year for Christmas around a fire and made them write one negative or one thing that's in their system that's negative, that they don't have a belief in. And he made every single kid throw that in the fire and said, now move on. It's behind you. Do the same thing for him. He brought that program to where it is now. Right now, we're losing every single game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy Osman, followed by Rachel Wakefield, followed by Frank Escobar.
Good evening, board members and audience. Today I saw our new ViewSonics. They are totally captivating. They are a boon to all of the teachers. It connects to her computer. In fact, it becomes her computer. It even makes game show sounds, and the kids can do game shows in the classroom. I can see how teachers would want to be using that kind of smart board all day long. And I asked the teacher who's had is a pilot for this and has had a ViewSonic for a year already. And she says, I do use it most of the day. I have the kids write things down and they look in books, but I have it on all day long. Is our educational methods prioritizing serving teachers or students, though? Because it is not in the interest of the students. There are no indicators, research says, that education through technology is better than without it. And at least for the little ones, the kindergartners, first and second graders, there shouldn't be that much screen time in their lives. They should first learn to read and love reading before they have this other lovely thing in their life. And though it does harm kids up to 8th grade, or maybe even it harms adults, I mean, if we're listening to this business about radiation hurting people, ooh, that does not sound good. Should we have little kindergartners clustering over near this smartboard with all its radiation, or should they be sitting with a warm human being learning from her face and her emotions? I think that since there should be no screens for children up to age 2, that's what the American Pediatric Society said, because little kids have to learn to speak from a human face, not from a screen. I think that they shouldn't also have it in kindergarten, first and second grade, and that they should learn to read and to understand other students' emotions and to communicate and be social with each other before they have smart boards that big a deal. Thank you.
Shade Allen, followed by Rachel Wakefield, followed by Frank Escobar.
Good evening, board members and audience. I'm here on behalf of Andy Placencia as well. And I just wanted to say that the Chino's High Girls soccer team has taken a big hit since the loss of Andy's presence. Andy built this program from the ground up, and he has always had a good reputation when it came to coaching, and he's known from all over. He is one of the most respected coaches that I know of, and he molded me, and I know a lot of players can say this for themselves, but he molded me into the player that I am today. Not only is he focused on your performance as a player, but he is focused on your performance in your schoolwork, focused on how you respect yourself as a human being, and focused on making sure you are being the best you can be. There was a time where I was starting to get tired of soccer, and I questioned if I still wanted to even play before I played for him. When I played for him, he changed my whole perspective and helped me tremendously with my college search. He's not just a regular coach, a coach where if he leaves, you just say, okay, next, and you move on. He's someone that cares about the program. And this being my last year, I'm a senior. People think that because I'm leaving next year, I won't care. But I care about the program, and I want to leave the program knowing that it's in good hands. So that's why I came here to talk to you guys today. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you.
Rachel Wakefield, followed by Frank Escobar, followed by the final speaker, Leslie Peregrina.
Good evening. I'm a parent at Chino Hills High School. My daughter's on the varsity soccer team. I am deeply concerned about the issues that everybody's been talking about Andy Placencia. My daughter, Michaela, who's the first speaker tonight, has been on varsity since her freshman year. She has been blessed to be part of such a great organization, and so have I. I was his team manager. Coach Andy in the program he has been building year after year is the reason my daughter is playing high school soccer. Coach Andy is a great coach with lots of passion for the game, the program he is building at Chino Hills, and the team he coaches. I have watched him through the last 4 years at Chino Hills High teach his team about commitment to the school, to the team, to each other. The culture he's created with the teams that he has been on and off the field help these girls go out in the world with more respect, self-confidence than any teacher I have ever known. Each year he comes up with a hashtag, and it becomes the motto for the season. He asks the team to define what it means to them on the field, off the field, and in their lives. He motivates his team to excel in their schoolwork. He checks on grades weekly. And if a team member is struggling, he finds another team member to help. You can't say that about most coaches. The culture he's created year after year is one of faith and family. My daughter's been taught that her teammates are her sisters, and you don't just play for you play for them. Girls in younger grades who play soccer look up to those girls and dream of being a Lady Husky. Because Andy and his outreach program and his team mentor to the community, these young girls want to come to Chino Hills High. My daughter's become a leader and has more self-confidence because of Coach Andy. He tells the girls to set goals and helps them reach them. And he genuinely cares about his players' well-being. He has helped more girls with college recruitment, and more of his previous players come back and want to be a part of the program than any coach I know. Coach Andy has more integrity, respect, and heart for the girls he coaches than any other coach I know. He loves his job and the school he works at. The rumors that are going around are upsetting due to the fact that I know Coach Andy on and off the field, and I find it very hard to believe some of the things have been said. I am very concerned. My daughter was captain this year. She actually chose to stand up for her morals and believe in her coach and left the program. I left the program. It is heartbreaking. There will be no senior night for my child because she has chosen to stand with her coach. Please reconsider bringing him back to our program. We severely miss him. Thank you.
Frank Escobar, followed by Leslie Peregrina.
Good evening. My name is Frank Escobar. I'm born and raised in Chino, and I come from 3 generations of family that have grown up in Chino. So I have a long history with the city. I'm here to support Andy Placencia. I'm not one for talking. I'm not one for doing this. But sitting with my daughter, who has a game tonight, which I never miss, she said it was more important for me to be here. And I respect that and I understand that. I love, with my current career, I've had the opportunities to move, transfer, promotion, but I've always stayed in Chino because I love the community and I love the school district and what it has to say for and what it shows. Growing up, my kids went to the Preserve and then went to Chino Hills. My daughter didn't play club soccer. She played the ASO Region 67 and she did well there. And there was always rumors going to Chino Hills, well, if you don't play club, you're not going to make the team. Well, I'm here to say that's not the case. My daughter did her work. Andy noted it, and he saw her character, and he saw the work that she put in. I can't say enough about that. Every interaction that I have with him has been very minimal, and I like that because he's there to teach the kids. You know, no matter how much time I put in bingo or the taco bar and all that stuff, it didn't matter. Her work and her schoolwork, which was more important to him, is what reflected that. My daughter's had many coaches. No coach has gotten more out of her, not only on the field, but off the field. Keeping above a 3.5 is nothing he teaches that and preaches that. And I don't know what was done or if there was a mistake made. I don't know, and I shouldn't know. But I think for the community, it would be a bigger mistake if he wasn't put back in his current job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie Peregrina, followed by Gigi Soto.
Good evening, Board President, board members, community, and district staff. My name's Leslie Peregrina. I'm a parent at Chino Hills High School. My daughter is on the soccer team, currently playing right now as we speak. I'm here to share both perspectives because I can, as a parent, and I've been in education for 26 years. I've been a principal, elementary school principal for 20 years in other districts. And I tell you, the character of Coach Andy, and as a teacher, because my daughter has had him as an athletic PE coach and teacher, he's outstanding. He's respectful. He provides meaningful connections with students. He has brought out the best in my daughter, Layla. My daughter, learning hasn't been easy for her. She has ADHD. And Coach Teacher Andy has really helped her overcome. And believe me, I'm a critical consumer. Being a principal, wearing that hat, I've been a critical consumer. And I just want to speak on what another speaker shared, Mr. Petrov, that I just want to ask for consistency and practices with the way we work with teachers in this district. I don't know much, but I do know overall, in my experience, was he given support? Did he have a fair chance, or is he getting a fair chance to really develop as a teacher? Mistakes do happen. I know. I have to handle them sometimes. And the thing is, if this district really believes in PBIS, positive behavior intervention systems, I know, I live also, sometimes students need extra support, and we do need to support the staff. But at the same time, we can't assume students know the rules, and we have to explicitly teach them. And that's part of the support that I hear we need in a lot of places. And so if Coach Andy made a mistake, give him a chance to develop as a teacher. We all have impatient moments and things like that. And in the high school, I'm aware personally of other teachers making mistakes. Recently, the English teacher for my daughter made a remark that didn't sit well with me. Ungrateful little brat, because she talks excessively. So I really think that everyone deserves a chance to correct mistakes. Please give him a chance. He makes a powerful impact. Thank you.
Thank you. Gigi Soto.
Hello. Sorry, I'm not really prepared. I wasn't prepared to talk tonight, but I don't have anything prepared to read, but everything's coming from the heart. I graduated from Chino Hills High School 2017, and as a freshman, I was on varsity soccer coached by Andy Placencia. He was both my high school and club soccer coach, and he's always been a big impact on my life. He's always been there for me, made me the player that I am today. He's made me want to go beyond what I thought I could have done. I have a sister currently at Chino Hills High School now. She's a senior, and she tore her ACL a couple years ago, and she wanted to quit soccer, but Andy helped her throughout her journey and let her know that he was there for her and brought her back to playing, and she loves the sport. And when she found out that Andy wasn't going to be her coach anymore, she wanted to quit. My parents made her stay on the team, but all she wanted was to play for Andy because of all that he's done for her and for me. I mean, he's a great coach. He's never done any harm to anyone. He only tries bettering us as a person and as a player all the time. And we can't let this person, coach, teacher go to waste just because of a rumor. This soccer team really needs him, and
after graduating, I just want to see this program keep going to the top. I mean, my freshman year, we won CIF, and we've always gone to the finals of CIF, semifinals, and to see now that they're losing games, girls wanting to quit just because they don't have a coach that they deserve is not what I ever thought of seeing this program come to. So, like I said, Andy's a great coach, a great person, a great friend. He's always there for you when you need him. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you to all the speakers tonight. We are now at item 1G, changes and deletions. Pat, are there any changes or deletions
The
tonight?
following changes reported: closed session report out correction. Correct the employee number to read 8879.
Mr. Schaefer, do you want to give the public a moment to?
Yeah, we'll take a short break, but we'll stay on the dais.
Okay.
Moving on to action items. We are now at action items. The first item is item 2A1, proclamation for National School Counseling Week, February 3rd through the 7th of 2020. Recommend the Board of Education adopt the proclamation for National School Counseling Week, February 3rd through the 7th, 2020. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
May I have a motion?
So moved. Oh.
Wow. Moved by Mr. Nah, seconded by Ms. Gagne. Comments, questions, or discussion from the board?
I do.
Ms. Blair?
I would just like to read the proclamation. National School Counseling Week is sponsored by the American School Counselor Association, which will be celebrated from February 3rd through the 7th, 2020, to focus public education on the unique contribution professional school counselors provide within U.S. school systems. National School Counseling Week highlights the tremendous impact school counselors have in helping students achieve school success and plan for a career. This special week provides recognition for school counselors who implement comprehensive school counseling programs. Chino Valley Unified School District Proclamation. Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential. Whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development. Whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children. Whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves. Whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society. And whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District does hereby proclaim February 3rd through the 7th, 2020 as National School Counseling Week. Thank you to all of our amazing counselors.
Thank you for reading that in. Mr. Na?
Yeah, as we're reading over about counselors, I'm also maybe thought of a coach in the Placentia, as everyone have heard. And he sounded like more like a counselor, not just a coach. So I would like to go thank him personally as well. But in the same token, I'd like to really appreciate all the counselors working our district. They don't just fix your classroom schedules, but many of them has known our students in a way very personal, and they were very needed, and they were very helpful. So I'd like to thank all the counselors in our school district. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz.
Yes, counselors are involved in our career and college development, academic development, and social emotional development.
Not seeing any other comments, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Item 2B1, public hearing and ratification of the tentative agreement between the Chino Valley Unified School District and the Chino School Employee Association and its Chino Chapter 102, effective July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2021. Recommend the Board of Education, first A, conduct a public hearing, and B, ratify the tentative agreement between the Chino Valley Unified School District and the California School Employees Association and its Chino Chapter 102, effective July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2021. I now open the public hearing at 7:41. Are there any speakers? No speakers. I now close the public hearing at 7:41 p.m. Now for a vote on item B, may I have a motion?
So moved. Mr. Cruz.
Wow.
And I was.
There you go. We'll have a first by Mr. Cruz and a second by Ms. Hernandez. Comments, questions, and discussions from the board? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item 2B2, addendum to employee contracts for superintendent, associate superintendents, business services, and curriculum, instruction, innovation, and support, assistant superintendents, curriculum, instruction, innovation, and support, facilities, planning, and operations, and human resources. Recommend the Board of Education approve the addendum to the employment contracts for superintendent, associate superintendents, business services, and curriculum, instruction, innovation, and support, assistant superintendents, curriculum, instruction, innovation, and support, facilities, planning, and operations, and human resources divisions as follows. A, provide a 2.5% on-schedule salary increase for 2019-2020 school year effective July 1st, 2019, and a 0.5% off-schedule one-time payment for current employees as of November 22nd, 2019, based on their 2019-2020 salary schedule, and B, provide a 2% on-schedule salary increase for the 2021 school year effective July 1st, 2020, and a 1% off-schedule one-time payment to current employees based on their salary schedule as of July 1st, 2020. Are there any speakers?
No speakers.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Na,
Second.
Ms. Gagne. Comments or questions from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item 2B3, compensation increase for substitute services provided for certificated employees. Recommend the Board of Education approve a compensation increase for substitute services provided by certificated employees. Are there any speakers?
No speakers.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Na on the motion, Mr. Cruz on the second. Comments or questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to 2B4, revisions to the classified substitute salary schedule. Recommend the Board of Education approve the revisions to the classified substitute salary schedule. Are there any speakers?
No speakers.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Hernandez on the motion, Mr. Na on the second. Comments, questions, or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to the consent calendar. We are now at consent. Pat, are there any speakers on consent items? Board members, do we have any polls? Mr. Na?
No polls.
Mr. Cruz?
No polls.
Ms. Hernandez?
No polls.
Ms. Gagne?
No polls.
And I have no polls. I have a motion for the consent item.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Nah on the motion, Mr. Cruz on the second. And we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to information items. We are now at information items tonight. We will be hearing from Ms. Shiloh Gorosp. Hope I didn't say that wrong. Of Idle and Bailey providing the independent auditors and Measure G reports. If there aren't any questions on other items, we'll go ahead and hear from Ms. Gorosp. Is there any questions or comments on any of the other items from board?
No.
Your presentation, please, ma'am.
Great, thank you. Good evening. Thanks for having me here tonight. So as you may be aware, we're here to present for you the June 30, 2019 audited financial statements. And hopefully everybody received a copy, had a chance to take a look at it, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll just go through the results of the audit really quickly and then open it up to you. So as you know, our audit is for the purpose of providing you with reasonable assurance about whether or not the financial statements are materially stated. And as I mentioned before, for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2019. Our audit report is on page 2 of this document, and that is an unmodified opinion that we're presenting tonight, which is the highest level of assurance we can provide you. It means that as presented, the financial statements we believe are materially stated based on our audit. With that, I'll just note that that also includes that the information you received back in September for your unaudited actual data. We made no audit adjustments or changes to that information, and so that data would match what is in the audit report this evening. We don't just provide you an audit of the financial statements. Page 103 summarizes 3 other reports that we provide for you tonight included in this document. One is a report on your internal control over financial reporting. So the purpose of that report is to communicate any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in the internal controls over financial reporting if they were to come to our attention during the audit. And so I'm happy to report that there are neither of those within the audit tonight. So that's a clean report. We also provide you a report on your federal program. So this is a compliance audit as well as an audit of the internal controls over compliance. And so page 103 would show that the program that was audited for the June 30, 2019 fiscal year end was your child nutrition program. It is a very large federal program in the district, so naturally it does go through our process. And so the opinion on that was also unmodified. There was no compliance issues or internal control weaknesses noted with that program audit. And then the last is the state program audit. So the state mandates various programs that we have to audit in accordance with their criteria. And so that is also an unmodified report, meaning there were no compliance findings to note in that audit. We also do give you a letter that is separate and distinct from the bound report. That letter is a communication to you as the board, the goal of which that letter would be to provide you with information outside the audit that maybe you can't read within this bound report. A couple of those important notes would be if we had any difficulties dealing with management or if we had any difficulties completing our audit, and based on the results of our audit as well, we just are happy to report that we didn't have any issues in completing the audit. So if we did, we would definitely include them in our letter to you. I don't think I've ever had that yet. That would be an awkward conversation if we did. But so that was the district's general audit, and if you want to pause for questions on that, or would you like me to move on to the measure?
If you don't mind moving on, we'll add.
Great. So the Measure G audit is next, and this one will be a little bit shorter because we're solely providing an opinion and an internal control report specific to Measure G bond funds. And so it is a financial audit, but it's also a performance audit. And as with the financial audit of the district, this is an unmodified opinion with no internal control findings to report specific to Measure G. And from the performance standpoint, this audit, we look at compliance with the ballot language. So we look at expenditures, make sure that the district's following the ballot language as approved by the voters. And so that's a clean report as well. We didn't have any exceptions in the Measure G audit. And that's that. So if there's any
Thank you.
questions on either of them, I'm happy to answer those for you.
Thank you. I was actually just asking them if you guys attended our Citizens Oversight Committee meetings or not, but apparently you guys get minutes or whatever from the meeting.
Yes, and we have in the past, and we're happy to do so in the future if that is of interest. I think on the old measure, we would attend those, the past measure we did. So we're happy to do those ongoing for Measure G as well.
Any questions from the board?
I do, but not for you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The deficiencies that are noted regarding our association, our associated student bodies at one of our junior high schools, and I think all 4 of our high schools, regarding reseating procedures, all of the deficiencies here, I know that they indicate that they'll review the status of the current year comments during the next audit engagement, but what are we doing to ensure compliance? Because some of these are reoccurring concerns.
Yeah, I'll let
and so
Mrs. Chen answer that.
Ms. Blair, these findings from the high school and junior high school ASBs are unfortunately quite common throughout schools in public schools.
Right, they've
So-
been common in each of these audit reports, but I was hoping that at one point during the 8 years I've been here that it would get better, but it isn't, and it's still concerning because these are cash deposits that, you know, are raised for our students, and so.
That's correct. We continue to work with our school sites and their financial clerks to provide them training annually so that they understand what the rules and regulations are. And every time we get findings, we share those findings with the school sites so that they could continue to work on improving these.
So we're going to follow up. We're not going to wait for the next audit. We're going to continue to work with
No.
the junior high and the 4 high schools.
That's correct. Every time we get these findings, in fact, we get these a couple months ahead of time, so we've already shared these with our high school administrators.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board? Great, we'll move on now to board member and superintendent communications. Mr. Cruz?
You know, for BRE, you know, the complaints have been ongoing for a while. And, you know, school success is the quality of its principal, and he's like the captain of the ship, and he has the authority and guidance, and he sets the tone of the school, the culture, even the school climate. So the things that I heard were, you know, I heard things like teacher in distress, toxicity, unwelcome, parents not motivated, extremely alarming, not effective communicate, lack leadership, a lack of parent involvement, disruptive behavior, grave concern, program difficult to implement. And we know that the semester has started. And, you know, what comes down to it, you know, our priorities are children. And who teaches our children is the teachers. And me being in education for 21 years, I get the point real quick and real fast. And you're here this far, and you want change. So, you know, as for me, I recommend the change. So I support new leadership for Butterfield, you know, for the sake of the teachers and the parents, but ultimately for the students' well-being. The semester has just started, so we should make the best and start really good and fast. So I support you. I support the change. There are 2 things I like to make a comment of. And so I'm going to make these things. A lot of times, I always think about others, so I'll start. You know, August 17, 2019, you know, Chino Valley School Board voted to approve the new sex education curriculum. There's a bill, SB 673, giving parents the right to opt out on the sex education curriculum. Last week, I had numerous phone calls concerning about the sex ed curriculum, concerning about a reading list adoption. So I did some research. You know, it has emerged that, you know, the stuff that they're discussing are things such as bondage, restraint, kinky sex, and so forth. But what caught my attention, the introduction of bodily fluids and blood play. And you know, it's just the idea that what's so scary about it is those responsible are adding it to our public education teaching materials. And you have to ask yourself, how far can this stuff go? And, you know, and as a child, as we get this stuff into our head, it sticks the rest of our life. And just the idea that we get exposed to this stuff early in life, it is a form of mental abuse. And you know, this stuff has to be talked about and discussed because it is a form of mental abuse. I attended an event about a month and a half ago, and the book, Life Animated, it's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and it's about his son, autism. So he stated, let's see, we know this, okay, let's see. The boy runs like kids do at the age about 2.5 with a reckless headlong wobble that will soon be gone. So December 2nd and 3rd, the UN funded the World Health Organization, who held a global vaccine safety summit. And they stated that scientists admit that vaccines are killing people. Adjuvants, the vaccines, may be part of the problem, and they have not conducted adequate safety studies. So we do know that pharmaceuticals are giving liability protection for damage caused by vaccines. So little by little, things are being exposed, the truth, and the idea that I graduated from Irvine with a biology degree, so I do know a little bit of vaccines. The vaccines is not the concern, it's what they're putting in it. And knowing the fact that we have a high rate of incidence of autism, you have to ask yourself, you know, is there a possibility that vaccines are causing this? And knowing that the UN admitted it, that on December 2nd, December 13th, that vaccines are causing, you know, deaths and most likely damage too. So, and as for like what you stated, Mr. Null, yeah, Andy does behave like a school counselor. And he has impacted tremendously of our students in Chino Hills. So thank you.
Mr. Knott?
Yes. Again, I'd like to thank soccer coach Andy Placencia. I have never met him, or might have met him, but you know, I am more than 50 years old. That means I have a short-term memory. But however, I will go seek out and see if I can meet up with him and have a great conversation. When one cares about young, I have said repeatedly in the past, as an adult, we have a duty. We have duty to love children. And as a children, they have a duty to respect adults. So that's been crossed many times tonight's meeting through the podium and through our teachers and people's comments. So I'd like to thank him and then see if there's anything we could resolve this. I don't know yet, but that's in my agenda. Second, for Butterfield, if the child is not showing a proper respect or out of control or different needs, but it does not excuse that person to hurt our teachers and disrespect our adults and bully our children. There is, or their peers. And so we need to find a way to fix that, I think ASAP. I cannot imagine kid punching a teacher. There is no way. This society is going upside down. I do know that, but they could tell who's an adult and who's not. And if they can't see adults as an adults and misbehaving like that and taking whole campus as a hostage, that is no. And I'd like to ask Dr. Anfield to look into this matter, please.
Yeah, we're working on this with HR.
Great, yes. And as the teachers go and our parents, lovely parents, thank you for coming tonight. I hear your pain and all the truth. I have gone to your festival a few months ago, and then I do remember that your own children were not invited. And yes, we would have to work together, though, as an adults. We need to come brainstorm and seek together for the best way so that teachers could have a joy in teaching on that campus, and parents could come on that campus with full of happiness, wanted to volunteer because we have same mission and same agenda. And I'm sure I start working with that. And Dr. Unfield, again, could you make sure that let's get it done rather quickly, because teachers have to not only take care of so many students in their classrooms in daily basis, but also having extra stress, working with fellow staffs would be a big concern for me. I have great pride in our teachers, and I love them dearly. I visited their classrooms. I visited volunteer rooms where the parents were all out there spending their energy, and we need to rebuild this campus so that when we say Butterfield, everybody wants to transfer into. So let's make that happen together. Thank you. And our Allegiance STEAM Academy, our charter school, personally, I would hope the 5-year renewal will be a slam dunk. That's on my personal visitation. I have spoke to students. They're getting so much of confidence and great guidance and great leadership and principal. We have great principal. And most of our leadership members are comprised of our parents, our own parents. So I have a great respect and also expectations. Congratulations on your good outcome, your test results. I know you have more work on junior high level, but that's coming. And again, I had great time in your code classroom, coding. Matter of fact, I don't know how old he was. He was trying to teach me, and I couldn't learn anything. So, you guys must be doing a great job. I was out of commission for a few weeks, so it's late saying, but we had a great Christmas parade, but during the rain, we were all freezing, but then also there are people on the streets and still screaming and happy to see us passing through. So congratulations for everyone, and thank you. Your matters are our matters, and we do care. And we hear your voices. Every voice counts. And we are just blessed, just being a top school district where everybody's achieving high. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
I'm just going to be brief, but I wanted to respond to the Butterfield Elementary School teachers and parents. And I want you to know that the emails that I received, I didn't ignore. We received, as a board, a full update of what efforts are being made to improve the environment on the campus. There are things that are happening, and you just have to trust that they aren't being ignored. Sometimes we expect change immediately. It's not that easy, but there are things that are taking place. The Superintendent Enfield has been on the campus, and we are receiving updates as a board. With regards to discipline of students, for those of us that are involved in the school district, we know that the state has passed laws that now limit discipline and certain actions be taken against students for disruptive behavior. But certainly if there is hitting, if there are threats, that needs to be addressed. And Dr. Enfield, that's where I want to go with the follow-up is if we have reports of the students making threats, alleging that they have guns, I don't know if it was in a playful manner, I don't know, but if it's serious enough where, fellow students are concerned, that needs to start being reported. That isn't part of the new law that includes the disruptive behavior. So I think we need to all continue to focus on Butterfield, but all the other campuses where there are expressed concerns. But we need to be supportive on all aspects. And if change is the ultimate result, then that's what needs to happen. But there are things, I just want to reassure everyone that there are things that are in play, and we as a board did receive a full update from Superintendent Enfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gagne?
I'd like to echo what Ms. Hernandez just said, but I'd also like to note that I appreciate teachers and parents coming this evening. Sharing individual anecdotes helps to create the tapestry of what's actually happening. We sometimes get a point of view from two sides on an issue, and then filling in the blanks is where it's difficult, and especially with a leadership issue or another related issue on a campus, it's very helpful to hear from a variety of stakeholders. So I appreciate you hanging with us past 8 o'clock this evening as we commence our meeting. A couple quick updates, and then unfortunately I was hoping to keep my comments brief, but things happen at the end of meetings that I have to comment on. So first and foremost, Chino Hills is having the dedication of a veterans monument on Saturday, January 18th at 10 a.m. Near the Chino Hills Community Center. Going to be a great event. I know a lot of community effort went into making this monument happen, so I wanted to note that. And then right across the street, very conveniently, at Ayala High School, we have our high school students on Saturday and our junior high students on Sunday competing in a VEX Robotics tournament. I was able to go to the one at Don Lugo last year, go to attend that one again this year. But it's just amazing what these students in our school district and across the state do in terms of robotics and how advanced it is for high school and junior high students. So just want to encourage you to attend. So we keep coming back to the sex education curriculum that's used in this district. And I'm going to make two brief comments just so we understand completely what's happening here, because it's getting a little redundant, the lack of misinformation that comes from this dais. Yeah. First and foremost, the state government passes legislation. And sometimes it is a mandate and everyone has to do one thing, and other times it's particularized. In this school district, we had a community-based process with a very diverse set of stakeholders. And everybody came to a consensus, which is documented in meeting minutes, that there were no big red flags. I actually asked for the curriculum and the health textbook. I read an entire junior high health textbook just looking for trigger words, just to see if any of the rumors were potentially true. Because I want to respect the fact that some people were told certain things, and I want to make sure I had all the information. I don't know if everybody else on this board did that. Frankly, I don't care. I did. The things that were just said are not in our sex ed curriculum. We need to trust the community, we need to trust our process, and trust our teachers that these things are not being said in our classrooms. Frankly, that was 3 or 4 months ago. It's 2020, it's a new year. My ending comment is, let's all move on. Let's focus on new issues and new problems for this school district. This is a great district. Let's focus moving forward. If we keep going back, it's really going to pull the entire school district, the entire community, way far behind. So I would appreciate that as a board, we focus on moving forward and not revisit things, especially when they are inaccurate and false.
Dr. Enfield, you're good tonight? Yeah. We're okay. A couple of things. First, to the Butterfield Ranch folks. I concur with Ms. Hernandez and Ms. Gagne's comments. We've heard you. It's not going to change overnight, unfortunately, as a lot of you know, but it is being addressed. This sometimes just takes a little time, but it is being addressed. I also want to just briefly comment, along with Ms. Gagne, on how irresponsible it is for members to sit up here and consistently mischaracterize, knowingly mischaracterize, our sex ed curriculum. It's offensive to our teachers that are teaching the subject, and quite honestly, it's offensive to the Superintendent's Advisory Committee that reviewed the material. And so, you know, if the individual had actually reviewed our material, they would know that none of this is in there. It's absolutely none. So, moving on to December 14th, I attended and participated in the Chino Youth Parade and actually rode in a float. It was a wet and cold day, but we made it through. December 19th, I attended the Boys Republic graduation ceremony. They are holding 2 of them a year now because the boys come and go at a rate that they want to make sure that they're hitting as many of them as they can with a graduation ceremony. So I do congratulate them for overcoming whatever adversities they might have had and for working towards a goal and achieving their high school diploma. On January 13th, just this week, Ms. Chen and Mr. Srichera were kind enough to do a couple of campus walks with me to actually go out and see what our modernization looks like on our elementary campuses and to take a look at the new science building. I have to say I was extremely impressed with the finished product in our elementary schools and our campuses. So, Mr. Tree, your group is doing a fantastic job, so thank you very, very much. Committee reports, Baldy View ROP. Some disappointing news out of ROP. This year we did not receive the CTEG, or the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant, from the state, so that is going to affect the overall budget from ROP, and what that looks like is not 100% clear yet. They're still working the numbers out, and hopefully at February's meeting we'll get a little more information. We are hopeful, though, that the K-12 Strong Workforce Grant, which is through the California Community College Chancellor's Office, will come through. That will help offset a little bit of the loss in revenue. And Ms. Gagne mentioned the Chino Hills unveiling and dedication ceremony for their military service monument. That was funded completely by the 55 Plus Club and their veterans group, who sold bricks and other fundraisers to raise the money. It was a 3-year-long process for them, and so if you are available at 10 o'clock at the Chino Hills Community Center, all are welcome to come out and witness the unveiling, and it's going to be something that the city can take pride in. And so if you are available, please come out, and then I will be walking across the street to the robotics tournament myself. With that, that concludes tonight's comments from me, and I now adjourn the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 8:13.